Welcome back to the SMT Media Network. In today's video, we look at a strictly hypothetical, and I'm really interested to hear what you guys have to say. So go ahead and drop me some comments. You guys see the title of the video, and actually, I'm kind of reacting to a YouTube channel creator that I listen to and watch all the time, Too Raw for TV. I'm gonna go ahead and link his channel so you guys can check it out, and maybe even go back to the actual video that he just did. So he received a question from his viewers and supporters. He does it all the time. It's really cool of him, actually. The viewer supporter asked Too Raw for TV, how would KD do if he played in the Michael Jordan era? How would he fare in like the 80s or 90s? Namely the 90s, I guess. So we'll call it the Jordan era. And Too Raw's position is KD would not have done well. Or as well as he did in this era. And I think he focused on like the numbers, the production, right? That's what Too Raw's position was. So he went on to say things like KD would have problems with great defensive teams. Jordan was great even against great defensive teams, while Durant hasn't been. That was one of the quotes from Too Raw. He also cites that during KD's career, he struggled against great defensive teams in the playoffs, whereas Jordan was more consistent even during the playoffs against some of those great defensive teams of the era. He also cited that Jordan torched Ron Artest, who was, obviously one of the most premier and elite defenders of, the 2000s and even into 2010. He was still a serviceable defender. Right, he was very, very good. All-NBA, a fierce competitor, especially defensively, just a problem for a lot of players because of his physicality. I think also his anticipation was really good, and just being a fighter. You know what I mean? Like, there's just no give up in that guy. And he cites Jordan torching Ron Artest, even as Jordan was aged and with the Washington Wizards. I think he dropped 50 on him or something. I don't know what it was, but Here's what Too Raw kind of concluded with. He said KD's numbers would likely drop. He wouldn't play as long as he did. He cited spacing problems. He cited pace. He cited physical defenses, obviously. He believes that KD would likely only score about 25 a game in the era, not the 27 or 28 he has for a career average today. And then he said, or he kind of closed it out saying he would be less comfortable in the 90s. He wouldn't have as many great shooters around him and supplemental players that allow him to enjoy a better than 50% free field goal shooting percentage for a career. And that's one of the things I want to mention, and to kind of respond to all this. I just want to make sure I got all this kind of out there. The thing about KD, and this is true about any of these eras, I want to make my position clear. These guys are great today. They would have been great then. And the guys back then that were great would be great today. I think what people miss is that players adjust. They are adjustable, adaptable, and if they're born and raised in an era, they will play within those confines of the whatever, the physical nature of the defenses, the spacing, whatever. KD would have been as great as he is today as he was back then. Would the numbers have been a little bit lower? Maybe. You could speculate that, I guess. That's fine. I'm not going to knock Too Raw for that. But if KD was arguably one of the best players in the league, I shouldn't even say arguably the best player in the league at certain points of his career, or like you'd say one of the best for sure, he would have been that back then too. You tell me what version of 7 feet tall with a decent vertical and a hell of a reach and all these other matchup issues he creates, how wouldn't that have translated back then? That doesn't matter about the era. He would have been a great shooter. He would have been a fantastic athlete. Who knows? Maybe he could have been better because he would have had a different mentality, a different approach to the game. Maybe he would have made different decisions because it would have been a different era, and he would have been greater. Who knows? All I'm saying is you don't know what a player would have been. You can speculate what would have happened to their numbers based on playing styles and strengths and weaknesses. But I am telling you right now, if KD was one of the best players of this era, he would have been one of the best players of that era too. he would have been just as unstoppable in his peak when he was healthy. I would argue that I don't think he would have tore his Achilles. I don't think he would have ruptured his Achilles at all. I mean, that was a rare injury in that era. The only one I remember, off the top of my head at least, that was a substantial player that most people would know would be Dominique Wilkins. And he really had a miraculous comeback, and he had a huge season when he came back from it, which is rare and unusual, you know. But, you know, he ended up going to Greece and playing there and all that after. But I'm just saying that probably wouldn't have happened, you know, because that injury was so rare back then. It's become more common now, right? And there's several unknown reasons as to why it's happening now. We can speculate and all that in the comments, but I'm telling you guys, I don't believe in this whole concept of players today could not have done anything back then. They would have been just as good or better in other eras. And it's fun to speculate and it's fun to talk about it, but these guys would have been adjusted for it. You mean to tell me that KD would have not shot the ball as well, like his shooting form would have been that different, or his physics wouldn't have been as advantageous back then? Like, humans are still basically the same over the last, like, 5,000 years. Like, yeah, we're a little taller or whatever, but, like, what could have changed in a couple of decades? Seriously. I mean, I'm not going to subscribe to that. I will not take that school of thought. KD would have been great in any era in the existence of the NBA. Michael would have been great in any era in the existence of the NBA. That is all I could tell you for sure, for a fact. Those guys, doesn't matter where you put them, great is great, and that's great. All right, guys, go ahead and hit me with the comments. Let me know if you agree or disagree. I do not mind if you agree or disagree. Let me know why. Give me your rationale. Drop me some comments. Like, share, subscribe. Check out some more videos. We'll see you guys soon on the next one.